Trump just lost his 200th court case. I'm watching what might be the biggest judicial rejection of presidential power in modern American history, and it started with one Supreme Court ruling February 6, 2026. The court blocked Trump from deploying National Guard troops to Chicago, 6 justices to 3, including judges Trump himself appointed. Since taking office 17 days ago, Trump has been blocked by courts over 200 times. 51 government actions completely shut down, 109 temporarily halted. This isn't resistance. This is the Constitution fighting back, and Trump is losing. Here's what happened. Axios tracked every single court case involving Trump administration actions since January 20th, 2026. Over 300 cases filed, 200 rulings issued so far. The pattern is devastating for Trump. 200 cases where judges ruled against the administration, blocked executive orders, stopped deportations, halted military deployments, rejected constitutional violations. Only 110 cases where Trump won. That's a 65% loss rate in 17 days. Think about what that means. Nearly 2 out of every 3 times Trump tries to use executive power, a court stops him, and it's getting worse. January 20th through January 27th, first week, Trump won 40% of cases. Not great, but manageable. January 28th through February 6th, second week, Trump won only 30%. The losses are accelerating. Judges are getting bolder. Rulings are getting harsher. And Trump's own appointees are turning against him. The Supreme Court just delivered the biggest blow. Trump wanted to send National Guard troops into Chicago. He claimed the city was overrun by crime, gang violence, drug trafficking. He said local police couldn't handle it, so he ordered federal troops deployed under the Insurrection Act. Chicago sued immediately. They argued there was no insurrection, no rebellion, no violence that local authorities couldn't manage. Just a president trying to federalize a city because he didn't like its policies. The case went to the Supreme Court, emergency appeal, fast-tracked, and the court ruled against Trump, 6-3. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote the majority opinion, quote, "The Insurrection Act requires an actual insurrection. Political disagreement with local leadership does not meet that standard." Justice Amy Coney Barrett joined the majority. Trump appointed her. Justice Brett Kavanaugh joined the majority. Trump appointed him. Justice Neil Gorsuch joined the majority. Trump appointed him. 3 Trump appointees just told him no. The dissent came from Justices Alito, Thomas, and, surprisingly, no one else. Even the conservative justices Trump thought he could count on rejected this. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson celebrated, quote, "The Constitution won today." Trump's authoritarian overreach was rejected by his own Supreme Court. But that's not even the biggest constitutional fight. On January 20th, his first day in office, Trump signed an executive order ending birthright citizenship. The order said children born in the United States to undocumented parents are not automatically citizens. It reversed 150 years of constitutional law. The 14th Amendment is very clear. Quote, "All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States." Born in the United States equals citizenship. It's not complicated. It's been the law since 1868. Trump's order said that doesn't apply anymore. If your parents are undocumented, you're not a citizen even if you're born here. Within hours, lawsuits flooded federal courts. Civil rights groups, state attorneys general, immigration advocacy organizations, and judges started blocking the order immediately. A federal judge in Seattle issued a nationwide injunction, quote, "This executive order is blatantly unconstitutional. The 14th Amendment does not contain an exception for children of undocumented immigrants." A judge in California ruled the same way. A judge in Massachusetts ruled the same way. Trump's Justice Department appealed. They argued the president has authority to reinterpret the Constitution. Multiple federal appeals courts rejected that argument. Quote, "The president does not have authority to unilaterally rewrite constitutional amendments." So Trump took it to the Supreme Court, and the court refused to hear the case. They let the lower court ruling stand. Birthright citizenship remains the law. Trump's first major executive order, dead on arrival. Now here's where this gets truly remarkable. Trump isn't just losing big constitutional cases, he's losing everything. Immigration enforcement, courts blocked mass deportations in 12 states. Environmental rollbacks, courts blocked EPA changes in 8 states. Federal worker firings, courts blocked Schedule F implementation in 15 states. Trade policy, courts blocked tariff enforcement mechanisms in 6 cases. National security, courts blocked deployment of troops to the border in 4 states. Every single policy priority Trump campaigned on is being dismantled by judges. And these aren't liberal activist judges. Many of them are Trump appointees, Federalist Society members, conservatives who were supposed to defer to executive power, but they're reading the Constitution, and the Constitution is very clear about limits on presidential authority. Trump can't deploy troops without congressional authorization unless there's an actual insurrection. Trump can't rewrite constitutional amendments by executive order. Trump can't ignore immigration laws passed by Congress. Trump can't seize state authority over local law enforcement. These aren't close calls. These are basic constitutional principles that every law student learns, and Trump keeps violating them. So how is Trump responding? Badly. He's attacking judges on Truth Social, calling them radical leftists and enemies of the people. He's threatening to ignore court orders. His advisors told Politico the administration is considering just proceeding with policies even when courts block them, and he's demanding Congress impeach judges who rule against him. That's not how the Constitution works. Federal judges have lifetime appointments specifically so presidents can't intimidate them. The framers designed it that way on purpose. When a court issues an injunction, the executive branch is legally required to comply. Ignoring a court order is contempt. It's illegal, but Trump's team is floating the idea anyway. And that's when you know the losses are really hurting him. Because when you're winning, you don't threaten to burn down the system. You work within it. Trump is threatening to burn it down because the system is rejecting everything he's trying to do. You just watch the courts block Donald Trump 200 times in 17 days. You watch the Supreme Court, with 3 Trump appointees, reject his military deployment. You watched federal judges across the country strike down his birthright citizenship order. And you watched Trump respond by threatening to ignore the courts entirely. This is what happens when a president thinks he's above the law. The law reminds him he's not. Subscribe to Daniel Brooks Reports. Share this video, because this is the story they don't want you to see. This is Daniel Brooks. Stay awake.